This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of bringing in entrepreneur Perry Kamel. We're going to talk about DNA Vibe. We're going to talk about jazz. We might throw in a little bit of action figures, but you're going to learn about workout recovery in the next 25 minutes. Ready, set, go. Perry, good to have you on the show.
Great to be here, Pete. Thank you.
Awesome. So we met several weekends ago on a Zoom and had a really interesting conversation on the technical capabilities and, basically singing to the DNA is what I remember from that call with the technology that you've basically mastered. So why don't you kind of take us through your background on kind of how you got to this stage, what this band could potentially proliferate into, and, what kind of results you're already seeing at the elite levels.
Yeah, happy to do that. I'll start out by saying DNA Vibe is intelligent light therapy. Our technology emits 4 modes: red light, infrared, magnetic pulse, and micro vibration. And the combination of those modes accelerates recovery, reduces inflammation and pain, and so forth. We're very science-based. How did I get into this? Well, I've been doing innovation and technology all of my career, have launched some pretty cool innovations throughout the last 2-3 decades. And about 5 years ago, I got a random phone call from a scientist. He's a molecular biologist and a human genomicist. He was a professor at, I believe it was Rochester at the time. And he just started talking about science and the implications. And fortunately, I was able to understand him because I've got a background in particle and optical physics, among other things. And as I listened to him, he was making some pretty interesting statements about how all these things come together and work. Now, for anybody who's been in the industry, whether you're a trainer or whether you're working in sports clubs or wherever you are in the industry, you're probably familiar with light therapy. It's been around for 60 years. And yet, for most of that time, very few people have understood why or how it works. So from a scientific perspective, we look at it in terms of stimulating DNA excitation. You talked about how I referred to singing to the DNA. Well, if you picture in your mind the DNA double helix, it actually looks a lot like 2 interleaved sinusoids. And when matter has that type of recurring structure, it is susceptible to excitation at the right frequency. If you deliver the right frequency, it gets excited. Excitation triggers a state change. When DNA changes state, it tends to stimulate the production of amino acid chains, builds protein chains, furnishes ATP energy blocks, and so on and so forth. All of these positive biological effects that reduce inflammation, pain, and stimulate recovery have everything to do with frequency and penetration and virtually nothing to do with power or intensity. So our product's very scientifically designed to do that, so that whether you're dealing with knee issues, ankle issues, nerve, muscle, joint, it helps stimulate accelerated recovery.
And given that this is an audio podcast, but effectively think about an egg shape, if you will, LED light therapy, sponge, viewing it, and it's emitting the light frequency. Basically anywhere you put it on your body, going at least 7 centimeters deep, if I recall from the last call that we had. I didn't take any notes, but I kept that photographic number in my brain for some reason.
Yeah.
So when you think about what else stimulates this DNA excitation, is it just light? Are there other things? Are there things that are already in your body that do it that then kind of turn off and you got to return them on? Or how? Give me that on so I can explain it to my nephew. Hopefully he's listening.
Yeah, so your nephew is probably an optical physicist, right?
Yeah, at age 13.
Right.
I think he got a 91 on the social studies test the other day. Thank God.
So look, you described it pretty well. The product itself is elliptical. It's 1 centimeter thick. It wraps flexibly around everywhere on the human body. In fact, the geometry is computer optimized to fit everywhere on the body: the neck, the knees, elbows, ankles, hands, wrists, feet. Everywhere you need it, you wrap it around and it does its job. What's interesting is when the body is injured, inflamed, chronic, acute, whatever, the body's natural process is already stimulating and recruiting DNA expression. And so what we're doing is we're coming along with technology that stimulates that same excitation and helps amplify the body's natural process. So if you have tennis elbow, your body is already trying to restore healthy tissue and recover. We're helping the body do more of that faster. And you know, the science is cool. I can nerd out on it for a long time, but the thing that's most exciting are the results. You know, in the bottom line here, we have well over 100 professional and Olympic athletes using the technology already. It's growing like wildfire. We were literally featured by NBC's Today Show on Valentine morning because so many Olympians in Beijing were using it. They put it on 20, 30 minutes before competition. They put it on after competition. Helps them recover, stay fit, avoid injury, and recover from injury. Now, we get stories every day from grandmothers who want to be more active with the grandkids, from youth athletes who are sidelined by injury, from people recovering from surgeries, and so many other things. Just excessive yard work, it works wonders for that. Whatever you're doing, we all have to deal with the consequences of activity and gravity and time, right? So we're excited about this because of the stories of lives changed, how it helps people do more of what they love at a higher level for a longer time, get back to hobbies they've had to abandon, whatever the case is. So here it's working for everything from New York Yankee pitchers to NBA basketball players, NFL stars, but also grandma, the teenage kid, your son, everybody in between are getting some great results. About 97%.
97%. Given that it's coming to market now, obviously there's a huge, you know, resurgence or surgence, if you will, of workout recovery technologies. Obviously this one's been around for 60 years, used in, you know, hospitals and rehab centers. What did you guys do to get it to the point where it's accessible? Talk about the price point, talk about kind of the re-engineering or retooling of this, the fact that you make it in the US and you're able to hit this price point that makes it, you know, available to the masses and not just the classes.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this fairly simple, but it's a rich topic because for 60 years, when people first discovered that red light therapy had positive biological effects back in 1962, they said, oh, red light is good, more red light, therefore must be better. And so the whole industry went down the path of more red light, more intensity, more power, more high density emitters. And the irony is exactly the opposite is true. It's a very delicate, very light process at the right frequency. It's about precision, not power. And so our technology is designed to emit a very, very low level of intensity. It's designed that you can wear it for 20, 30 minutes or even more. Personally, I wear mine around my neck every afternoon for about an hour. And so the product specification.
Your neck looks great, by the way. Looks fabulous right now.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. Hey, the interesting side point, it does help with collagen and skin health too. But anyway, we actually did what everybody does. Every entrepreneur goes, hey, how can I get this big, cheap offshore? They go to contract manufacturing in Taiwan, China, you name it. We looked at that 5 years ago and we got bids back, 180, 190 bucks delivered. And we said, no, there's got to be a better way. And so we made a decision early on. We were going to completely reinvent the process of microelectronic manufacturing. We were going to use advanced manufacturing techniques, and we were going to build our product in the U.S. And so today, 100% of our products are built in Centennial, Colorado. We're able to deliver the product at less than half the cost that was quoted from China and Taiwan and others. It's a very sophisticated product. This is not typically what you see out there in the world of wearable light therapies, like wearable Christmas lights, right? You can't just get the results by strapping red lights to your body. It's a very, very sophisticated product, very high tech. We have a dual core processor running on the inside, over 30 emitters. But we've been able to redefine the method of manufacturing to do it right here in the US at a fraction of what people can do overseas. So we're really proud of that. It allows us to keep the price point down to about $200. And you know, that makes it very accessible. We call it democratizing advanced technology so that everybody who can benefit can get one. We have a lot of partners. We have over 800 physical therapy, chiropractic, orthopedic, sports medicine partners around the country.
Are they reselling it, or they're basically purchasing it and using it, or both?
Yes and yes, both. They are using it on their premise as part of their treatment protocols. And they're offering it to their customers who can take it home and use it in between visits. But we're able to keep the price so low so that we can make this accessible through those channels to anybody who can benefit from it.
When you think about what it costs to build a consumer brand these days, how do you think about, DNA Vibe as, hey, I'm the CEO of this company. I want everyone to know about it. I want to be, on the sidelines of the NFL, and I want to have, a logo on the side of, the Stanley Cup playoffs, behind the goal. Or, what, I'm trying to democratize this. I just want to get it out to everyone. If I want to private label it, if somebody wants to co-brand it, I can still make money doing that. And it doesn't need to be, Perry and his team, created the next Therabody or Hyperice. Like, I could be in my own niche, and I can build a business without building a brand that costs me a fortune these days. So how do you think about that as an entrepreneur?
Very pragmatically, Pete, we don't want to compete with others to build, dominant brands. We have a lot of partners who have good brands. We have dominant brands we'd love to collaborate with that we're beginning to formulate relationships with. We love our technology. We love the science behind it. We know that it's different. We know the differences matter. We know the results really matter the most. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all about. We think we have a really cool brand, but we're not jealous about it. So we'll do white labeling and co-branding type options, DNA Vibe inside, powered by DNA Vibe, those kind of things. And so we're just in the business of getting this out to as many people who can benefit from it as quickly as possible. Do we love the idea of being on the sideline at the NFL Super Bowl? Absolutely. I'm happy to say we've got a lot of elite athletes already in the major sports using it. We've got some head trainers for some of the top ball clubs already looking at furnishing it to their teams. But we'll do that in partnership with anybody who wants to help us get the word out.
Yeah. So let's talk for a second. So, you got a lot of action heroes muraled in your office there. Obviously that's something that you believe in, and as do I. Most action heroes just want to, bring people to justice and don't necessarily want to do a press conference afterwards. In addition, you talk about musicians. Most musicians are part of a band and they don't have their name on the back of their jersey. So how has that kind of maybe allowed you to, be pragmatic, be an entrepreneur that says, look, I'll do private label. I'll do whatever I want. Like, I just want this concert to go off according to plan. Or I want to do the right things, and I don't need the accolades, necessarily up front. Has any of those things kind of cross your mind as like not maybe accidental?
The superhero motif, you're referring to the background here. We have a lot of fun with that. We like energy. We like fun. I love the halo concept that you're pioneering, because to me, a healthy, happy lifestyle is all about, being active and having energy and doing those kind of things. So we have a lot of fun with it. But you know what? Philosophically, we do kind of see ourselves as superheroes. Uh-huh. The way that lives are being changed, it's amazing the stories we get back from kids who had abandoned their sports ambitions who are now back in the game, from some extremely well-known top-rated NFL players sidelined by injury that are now getting back into the game sooner than otherwise would have. One of my favorite stories was a couple of grandparents in their late 70s, both of them suffering severely from the impacts of shingles. They were bedridden, unable to get out, unable to walk, unable to garden, unable to do anything. And they wrote us a fabulous letter after about a week and a half of using the DNA Vibe Jazz Band. They're back to doing all the things they love. So we do see that as making a positive impact in the world. We may not be slinging hammers or flying suits or doing crazy stuff like that. I certainly don't turn big and green, but we're changing lives for the better. And we believe in that.
Can I just say one thing about shingles that's really bothering me right now? CVS has me on some text message list to get like a shingles vaccination, and they send it to me at the worst times, like 8:30 at night on a Saturday. Like, I'm single and I'm about to go out, and I'm thinking, like, why are they sending me a shingles vaccination text? And then we sent one yesterday during the Ranger game 7. I mean, like, these people have to clean their database out and be like, hit me like when I'm ready, not when I'm going out or when I'm having a good time. Anyway, point is, like, when you think about There is no other point to that, by the way. Changing gears, when you think about all the different things that light therapy helps with, how do you educate someone? I mean, there's a lot. This is about education, and you can't give them a list that says like, here's 100 things that this is going to help, because you got to figure out like, hey, here's like the top 5 or 10 things, before they lose track of, are you kidding me? So how do you think about that either from, a marketing standpoint, or is there like an educational component to this that you go to these trade groups, or like, is there a certification that you get in light therapy? Like somebody gets personal training or nutrition certificate. Hey, I'm certified in workout recovery or light therapy.
Yeah, so we do provide some content, educational content to many of our partners. Probably the biggest challenge, Pete, is like I said, light therapy, what we call conventional light therapy, has been around 60 years.
Yeah.
Now, the good news about that is there's over 4,000 research study, peer-reviewed, double-blind, placebo-controlled that prove that it's effective. The tougher part is that it's not quite scientifically based, right? So if you put red light on somebody, they're going to have some benefits. But the way we do it has a dramatic impact, and explaining why that is. What is the unique combination of our specific red frequency? It's not just red, it's a very specific frequency. Not just IR, but a very specific frequency in the near infrared spectrum, magnetic square pulse, and microvibration. How those 4 modalities work together to deliver the best possible results. That takes a little bit of education, but you know how we simplify that from a marketing point of view with what we call our Good Vibes Guarantee. We're in the business of helping people. That means if you buy the product and it doesn't help you, we give you your money back. Now, that's confidence. We've been doing this for over 2 years, and that almost never happens. Right. People who try the product keep the product, and more often than not, they'll buy another one and they'll start buying it as a gift for other members of their family and their network.
What's the price point?
The price point typically sells in at about $200. We do have a 2-mode product at about $129. We've got a high-end product for clinical use in the $350s. But typically the consumer, the lead product is called the Jazz Band Live. And it sells for about $200 or just under $200.
Gotcha. And then when you take a look at groups that are out there, let's just take like The Joint, which is like a chiropractic, franchisor. It has 800 locations. Or if you take a look at, like a Massage Envy or something like that, right, or Hand and Stone, or an Exhale, obviously we introduced you to Higher Dose. Hopefully something comes of that. Are those the types of channel partners that then could turn into retail, location, point of sale opportunities? And is that, once you educate the actual specialist, it seems like then they could kind of be the educator, downstream. Is that kind of how you think it works?
I very much believe that, and we're seeing that process taking root and growing. I mean, look, it wasn't that long ago. I remember June of 2020, we were planning to launch our B2B to C initiative, working with PTs, chiros, and others, massage. In June 2020, they were all closed. Lights were out. Doors were locked. No cars were in the parking lot. And undaunted, we said, look, we're still going to launch this. We're still going to be successful. We don't care that no businesses are open. What we did is we started reaching out to those business owners and operators and saying, look, now more than ever, the people who need your help are unable to come in and get the help. They need a way of getting helped. And oh, by the way, this builds a much stickier relationship between you and your community. And so we grew month by month throughout the entire pandemic. A lot of businesses embraced us at that point, starting with the smaller players, moving up to the bigger players. I think we're at a point now where like Higher Dose would be a fantastic relationship for us. And getting that kind of access to the market. We have plenty of opportunity to build some mutual success. But at the end of the day, this is a no-brainer for businesses who are out trying to help people recover from acute injury or surgery. We have orthopedic surgeons who send us photographs of accelerated recovery. It's a great way for them to say, look, come and see me every week or two or once a month, whatever your normal regimen is, but use this in between your visits and you'll have better total outcomes, right? And we're seeing that time and again.
And is this you put some AAA batteries in, or is this a charger, that goes into USB?
Yeah, so the technology has 3 interchangeable powering options. It comes standard with a 10-foot cord. You plug it in the wall, you connect it. 10 feet's a lot of cord. You can actually use that on the couch, the bed, sitting at the desk while working. And again, that's standard. It also comes with a rechargeable battery pack. Charge it for 3-4 hours or overnight, and it'll run for 10 consecutive uninterrupted hours at peak power. That's very popular, especially among like clinical use. They can have it all day long. And then it also comes with a car adapter, because what we're finding is people, it was the professional athletes who said, look, I want to use this on my way to and from my workouts.
Right.
And so we developed a proprietary power adapter. It works, now we're finding truckers and others who are spending a lot of time in automobiles using that and just tucking it in behind their low back while they're driving or wherever they need it.
Sure. And the last question, people talk about products and they talk about, these have FDA approval, these don't. Is the FDA really on top of this part of the market? And is this like something that you can fast track? Does it even matter anymore?
I think it does matter. I think it goes back to the history of light therapy. And like I said, when originally in the 60s, people thought, oh, red light has positive effects, right? It makes hair grow, makes collagen develop, all these good things. So let's do more red light. Then you have lasers, you have high density emitters. That stuff can be damaging. The FDA needs to be involved in that. And so those are class 1, 2, and 3 medical products. But the way we do this, at full power across all 4 modes, we're emitting 1.5 watts total. That's pretty remarkable. That is incredibly low power. And as it turns out, the lower the power, the higher the frequency fidelity and the deeper the penetration, the better. So this level of device safety, it's not even a class 1 medical device. And it actually fits into a policy, I believe it was from 2017, the FDA policy on unharmful or unsafe or safe medical devices. Gotcha. So we feel very good about it. Like I said, we let our customers do the talking. People are getting relief, and they're sharing that with their friends, families, and neighbors, and it's kind of selling itself at this point, Pete.
That's great. That's great. Well, I'm glad we connected. Do you have any business quotes or personal quotes or entrepreneur quotes that you want to share with us that is a guiding light or some kind of progress that you guys have internally? Obviously, singing to the DNA. The device is awesome, and I love how you kind of wrap the music into the technology here.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of science behind things like that, right? If you stimulate DNA excitation, it's about harmonics. It's about that kind of, the interplay between particles and waves. But, some of my favorite sayings, look, I've been doing innovation for a long time. If you walk around the lab here, people will tell you, like, Perry's favorite word is simplify.
Yeah. Okay.
Simplify. We all need to simplify things. If you're going to make a product as sophisticated as ours, and you're going to get it built locally, and you're going to distribute it at half the cost of China, you better be pretty shrewd about how you keep things simple, do the right thing in the right way. And that's kind of what we've done here. At the end of the day, our mission, the one-word mission statement for DNA Vibe is thrive, right? We want individuals to thrive. We want our partners to thrive. And I guess the last thing, we are full of really cheeky, tacky one-line slogans, but we mean it. So, for example, we're out to make the world a better place, one better life at a time. And we mean that. We mean that. We don't just say it. It's like when I told you about our Good Vibes Guarantee, somebody buys the product, they try the product. If it doesn't help them, we'll coach them. We'll try to help make sure they're using it properly, getting the most out of it. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't help them, we give them their money back. Because if we don't do that, we're not making the world a better place, right?
Yeah.
So,
in our book, Time to Win Again, we got a chapter called Simplify the Playbook.
Simplify
the playbook, simplify your mission statement. If I don't understand what you do after you tell me what that is, then shame on you, not shame on me. Right?
Yeah. So look, you put the product on, you turn it on, you feel better, and that's guaranteed. Period.
That's great. All right. Well, we got DNA Vibe. All the information will be in the show notes. Hopefully, we got a co-branded or some kind of deal with Higher Dose, which is one of our beloved portfolio companies that have met with Perry over Zoom and telephonically. Hopefully, we'll get that product out. And if you are into workout recovery in any facet of your business, think about including this. This is a great device to have as part of your workout recovery area, potentially selling at point of sale. If you're running a spa or any kind of massage therapy, this can also be kind of blended into your service offering. And, let's keep helping one person at a time, live a halo lifestyle. So, Perry, I will see you in person if you want to meet up at any time in California or New York. Love to see you, and look forward to helping you build this business out.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I look forward to that.
Awesome.